A lot of people ask me how to go about succeeding as a warrior in Arena, so I thought I'd make a guide to highlight important parts of the class in PvP. First of all, I'll start by explaining my talents, glyphs and gearing, and my reasons for why I believe they're the best options. Right, so this is the spec I currently run with. As you can see, I'm spec'd into both Imp Slam and Insight. From my experience, I've noticed a lot of warriors just settling for Insight, because they feel that avoiding Slam is something that they feel comfortable doing, but really, personally, I could never play without Slam. It does way too much damage, and the burst you can get from it is just fantastic. It's definitely a must-have talent, which a lot of warriors sometimes don't play with. I also agree that Insight is better than Blitz, Drums of War and Rude Interruption, so I mean, why not have both? I mean, warriors are so heavily reliant on damage, you may as well just make the most out of your class, because really, I mean warriors is just all based on the rotation. If you get that one, if you get that right, you're halfway there really. These are the glyphs I've run with. I mean, they're pretty obvious really. It's basically about damage. Overpower increases damage of overpower by 10%, Mortal Strike increases the damage of Mortal Strike by 10%, and Slam increases the critical strike chance of Slam by 5%. Glyph Cluster Smash is also very nice. I think got buffed in one of the recent patches. It now applies as Thunder Armor, so it will refresh that for you. So it's basically a buffed version of Cluster Smash, which is nice. Glyph of Rapid Charge and Glyph of Piercing Howl. There's nothing really else to say here. As a warrior, ideally you need to make the most out of PvE gear. Unfortunately, I don't do any PvE, so I really missed out on that side of things. Bone Link Fetish is very good. Heroic Attack is very good. I've got a tier 2 weapon, so I'm not going to lack any resilience, so I can just gem all out strength to try and make up for some of my damage. If you did go for Heroic Attack and Bone Link Fetish, you'd probably be dropping to about 4.2k resilience. I would then definitely recommend gemming some resilience to make up for that. You don't really want to be below 4.6, really ever. As far as reforges go, you obviously want to keep your hit cap. You don't need to reforge out of the hit. Try and keep some crit, but if you want to forge any mastery into expertise or crit otherwise, you need to definitely get some expertise, because it's a very vital stat, it's very underrated. But also you don't want to drop too much crit, because that's also very important. Another crucial part of the warrior gameplay is keeping the damage as high as possible. To do this, you need to make sure you always keep your lamb stacks on 3 and your Thunder Armors on 3. And whenever you go for a burst, get a Cluster Smash ready. You know, it seems easy, but I mean, a lot of warriors I've seen, they let their lamb stack fade because they've just been kited too much. And I've seen a lot of streams where warriors are just next to like a pet or something, and they're not refreshing their Mortal Strike. That's really important, because it's 30% damage. It's like a rat cancelling his wings on purpose. It's really important for the warrior gameplay. Another thing that I need to note is also if you're gonna go for a burst with Deadly Calm, make sure that every single possible open opportunity to use Heroic Strike is used, because it's a huge damage increase, especially if you're Insight spec as well. A lot of warriors ask about how to fit Slam into their gameplay and struggle with knowing the best times to use it. I'll just set this dummy here, and you'll see the gaps where I'm using Slam and understand hopefully a bit more why I'm doing it. As you can see, there's always going to be gaps in my rotation where I have no Mortal Strike, Cluster Smash or Overpower. These are the perfect times to use Slam. Obviously, you can't always guarantee you'll be able to do this, because you may need to hamstring your target or off-charge something else into being out. But yeah, I mean, basically in terms of damage, it's the best way of getting the maximum pressure out. This is a game here of us playing Warrior Mage Priest versus a Feral Mage Priest from Ring of Valor. It's from my movie Zeo 3. I'm going to run through what we did and the steps we took to win this game, even though these guys weren't particularly great. Impacting on the mage here to try and force a blink. So I'm keeping my Mortal Strike stacks up, get a rend up, basic things here. I've brainstormed this Nova. The mage's taking a lot of damage, so I decided to put Deadly Calm and use trinkets. The priest here inner focuses. I charge this inner focus and organise with my mage to put a ring of frost around it. So now the mage is going to take a lot of damage and the priest is going to be in a huge amount of CC. Here I throw down the priest. The ring of frost will go around it. The mage is taking a huge amount of damage here, so he paints up the mage. We stick to the mage. Here I get cloned, so I trinket, it's like casting a pre-shatter. And I'm not sure if this mage decides not to block because of the pre-shatter, or the fact that his priest has used pain suppression. But either way, he's going to block or die, so I do these pre-shatters a lot, and it does win a lot of games. Here he just dies. Knowing how other classes work and react can sometimes improve the way you play your class. For example, here is a clip of a mage taking a huge amount of pressure and he's forced to ice block. I put my priest on shadow, so I know there's a 100% chance that he's going to master spell. So I jump back, managed to charge the master spell and buy a team some time to recover from this. If I didn't charge this master spell here, the priest would have got the mage's block off, and then just deathed him, we would have lost there anyway. But it turns out that because of this we managed to buy ourselves some time and we won the game in the end. Exploiting positional mistakes is another way of winning games against good players. Here against a decent RLS, the rogue opens on me here, so I intervene back to my priest and charge back into the rogue to get some counter pressure. The lock's popping his demon spell and use trinket, so I reflect the haunt and retreat again and bring in the rogue back to try and get some pressure on the rogue. The rogue vanished, so I charge out on the lock, throw down him for a bit of counter pressure. He trinkets this. Here I fucked up my fear, which was a total waste. The mage is forced to block because of the rogue's damage was just incredible there. The lock portal was there, so I'm instantly away from him. I switch to the rogue. I call for a switch on the rogue, but the mage play him off him. That's right, we go on the rogue anyway, and we kite away from the dots, and I call to go straight back onto the warlock, as he has no portal and he's a good target. Here I'm doing some decent damage to him here. I'll put my use trinkets and Deadly Calm, call for some CC on the shaman, and he locked him on cast there. Here I'm doing insane damage. We forced NS here, Soulburn Healthstone, and we're still keeping up the pressure on this lock, so we keep mashing into him, keep trying to force some cooldowns. We force a coil, doing very good damage on the lock here. No one can stop this cast, so they do recover from this. I charge the lock here. I'm pretty sure that he portals here, yeah he does. And I notice here, the shaman's in a horrible position, so he's an amazing switch target, so I call for a switch on him. I pop Recklessness immediately. My priest has a fear for the DPS. Got some amazing damage here with Slam. We're going to force some big cooldowns there. Shaman almost dies here, he gets the Spirit Link, so I call immediately for a swap back onto the Warlock after a Blade Storm here. So the Warlock is a very prime target now, as he's out of portal range. Any CC on the Shaman now will be a win, so I charge him on cast, and my priest deaths the Warlock and we win. Another really important thing about Arena is having a game plan. For example here, we're WMP and we're against a KFC, so the first thing that comes to our minds is what do we offer against this combo, and the answer is strong CC on the Paladin and good damage on the Hunter in a deep freeze or a throwdown. So a bit of miscommunication here, but we have the same idea. We start with a CC on the Paladin instantly and deep on the Hunter, so we just do damage on him straight away. My priest calls it he's scattered, so I'm in the trap. I charge the warrior here, but it was literally a tab charge. I call straight to get back on the Hunter. Here I decide to follow. My Heracles playing up a bit, but I still try and follow because he's out of range of his Paladin, and the Paladin's in mind control. So it'd be really good if we follow here. I throw down him here, Mortal Strike. I Blade Storm this Deterrence purposely because of Snake Trap. And I know that as soon as he enters, he has to pop something. Here he Scatter Traps me, I think it's a Snake Trap. So I switch on the warrior a little bit just to keep my Mortal Strikes stacks up. Get a damage shot on him, Rends. And I ask my mage here what are we going on, because the warrior's a prime target and he calls Hunter. So I switch on the Hunter and he gets a shatter on him, I think. He doesn't hear yet. But he's getting absolutely ripped at the moment, so I interviewed my priest to protect him from scatter shot. So the Hunter can't scatter him. I think he used it on me anyway. On the Hunter here, just trying to get some pressure, a bit of counter pressure. Paladin bubbled here, I think my priest gets it off here. Yeah, he does. So we're pushing on the hunter now really hard. So we've got full throw on the paladin, and we can go really hard on the hunter. So I get a full throw on him, put recklessness. My mage gets a deep freeze out of there, and we manage to score the kill. Another important thing is to have good confidence in your team and strong communication. For example, here we time a charge into a polymorph, and any good priest is going to master spell this polymorph, so I protect it with a throwdown and manage to get some decent pressure on for some cooldowns. Using cooldowns correctly is vital. If you use them at the wrong times, you may end up losing because of it. Offensive cooldowns are most likely going to cause defensive cooldowns from your opponents, and vice versa, so it's very useful if you have the opportunity to reset or use a utility such as Intervene, Throwdown or Fear at this time to lower the damage intake. If they have used their offences without you having to use Wall or Regen, you're in a perfect position to push for the attack and start controlling the game, as you will not take that unhealable pressure. If you are forced to regen from a mage using a use trinket, don't feel like it's a waste, as he has effectively traded his offensive CDs for a defensive one of yours. When you start using 3 of your team's defences for just 1 of their offensive CDs, it's going to be very hard to get in control of the game. Using trinket correctly is vital. For example, if I'm in a kidney shot and the rogue hasn't decided to use smoke bomb, if I trinket that, a good team will punish me for it. They'll probably smoke bomb me later with a dance, possibly followed by a disarm, which will force multiple defensive cooldowns from my team, where otherwise I could have just trinked and used heroic leap to get out. Also note that if you position yourself badly, you could be forced to use a defensive cooldown when they haven't even used their offensive ones, which is really bad as you won't actually have them when you need them. But of course you can take advantage of that yourself. For example, if a Death Knight has walked around a pillar and his healer can't heal him because he is out of line of sight, you could force a cooldown by using a small cooldown like Imp hamstring him in that position and nuking him. Many people don't know what makes a position a good one. Good positioning is being in a position where your healer is in your line of sight at a safe distance away from you, in a position where he can avoid CC. Obviously, if your team is on the offense, you can push in and take a small gamble, but there's never any reason to be out of your healer's line of sight for a lengthy amount of time where he is forced to travel into the open and get CC'd because of it. Obviously, this season is a bit broken at the moment due to the amount of PvE gear and triple DPS exploits. You'll naturally learn the mechanics of the game as I've explained them, but hopefully this video has helped speed up the process for you. Hopefully it will help you even enjoy your warrior. Thanks for listening and have fun.